Morning everybody, FarmSim Gamer here, welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 and to Haut Beyleron. Now, as you can see, we have started our third day. We drifted into October and it's chucking it down with rain, which is not particularly great, but not too much of a problem. There's plenty that we can kind of still get on with. Now, you maybe remember yesterday in our first episode, we bought this field here, field 33. We harvested the sorghum that was in here. We then mulched the crop residue that was here. We kind of finished up with this state here. Overnight the weeds have come up as well, so we've got to take care of those one way or another. We built our farm down the bottom corner of the field here, and then there's a few tasks that we're going to get on and do today. Now, one of those was splitting this field into sort of two sections. So following this kind of hedge line that goes up the side of the house here, I'm going to go straight up to the top line of trees there and split this into two separate fields. One side we'll use for regular crop, and I'm going to put some oilseed radish in there as a cover crop over the winter months. And then this section that's over here, I'm going to put grass into here. Now, the only other thing that I'm going to do as well is just along this little hedge line down the bottom here, I'm probably going to put a couple of greenhouses in here, so we've got a bit of additional kind of income over the winter months. So we're going to have to get some equipment to be able to sort some of that stuff out. We've kept the combines. Part of the reason for that is that I did have a look at the map a little bit earlier, and we've got a few kind of fields that are coming up for harvest, and I was kind of hoping that some of those might appear from a contract point of view, but they don't seem to have dropped in. But we've got some soybeans, we've got some sunflowers, we've got some corn as well that are sort of fast approaching being ready for harvesting. So I'm kind of hoping that they might appear for some contracts possibly, so we can earn a little bit of extra income from there, but we'll have to wait and see. And now the other thing that I might try and do as well is get our chickens sorted out. The only thing that I need to get is a bit of feed for them, which I can get from the shop. Again, I can get those chickens in place, so we've got a bit of income that's coming in from them as well, because we won't have any harvestable crops for a little while now. Now, the other thing that I did have as well is that we purchased another tractor that came up on the second-hand kind of sale list. This Fendt 716 Vario came up, and again, it was a pretty good discount on it, so I decided to purchase that as well, because we were going to have a second tractor. Now, I've repaired that already last night, but there's a couple of other things that I need to buy at the shop before we take this back down to the farm. Okay, so we've picked a few items up from the shop. As you can see, we've got a front loader, a set of pallet forks, also purchased a big bag of wheat for the chicken feed, and then we've also got ourselves this Cochlin set of disc harrows, so a Rebel Classic 600T, 6 metre working width, needs 180 horsepower to pull it, and it was 45,000 euros. So a fairly cost-effective purchase, and part of the reason why I've gone down this route and gone for disc harrows is that we don't need to plough our fields at the moment, and don't need lime either at this point in time. Now, I'm just going to go and put a little bit of wheat into the chicken trough, so that's kind of all ready for them a little bit later on today, and then I'll take the front loader off, stick that in the shed, and then we can get on with a bit of cultivating in our fields. Now, this set of disc harrows needs a little bit more horsepower than our Fendt has got, so we're going to stick the McCormick tractor on this, and I'll just drag her out onto the field. I love the sound of the rain on the cab. I think that's really great. I really do think that they've improved the sounds generally speaking for Farming Simulator 22. Now, before I start cultivating, I'm just going to put a little sort of paint in a little strip of grass just down the side of the hedge here, and we were kind of the field's right up close against the hedge, as you can kind of see, so I'm just going to do that fairly quickly before we start cultivating, and then what I'll do is I'll back up into the corner here, and then basically I'm going to follow the line of the hedge and then carry on and go straight up the field, straight up to the top line of trees that are up there, and then that'll split the field in two basically, and then I think once I've kind of got this cultivated strip in place, then that'll give me a little bit of space on one side just to sort of put another grass strip separate separating out those two sort of sections. So I'll just drop this in the ground, and we'll head off up the field. I must say, pleased to see some new brands in Farming Simulator 22 as well. I know we had Cockling Drill out in FS19, but it's nice to see that they've got some of their cultivator options as well that are in FS22 in the base game. So it's nice to see some of these new brands kind of coming through a little bit. Part of the reason why I also went down the disc harrow route as well is that this only performs fairly light cultivation, so I don't have to worry about stones being dug up either at the moment. So that isn't. I haven't got another bit of kit that I've either got to lease or purchase to sort of take care of the stones. Now I have got periodic ploughing on. So I will need to deal with that in the future at some point, but I want to kind of spend some of my money really on purchasing a bit more land as well. As I mentioned to you beforehand, we've also got, or we're keen to sort of put some greenhouses in place as well. So I'm mindful of not spending too much money on kit and equipment at the moment. So now that I've got the headland marked out, I've put a helper in here just to get this field cultivation finished off. And my next task is to sort the greenhouses out, which I'm going to put down the bottom here, sort of backing onto this hedge line. So hopefully I'm going to get 2 large greenhouses in here. There should be enough space. But before I do that, I'm going to put this little grass strip in between these sort of 2 sections of field. So I'm just going to follow this sort of cultivator line up the field and put that in place. Doesn't need to be particularly thick. I've just sort of gone sort of fairly narrow strip really, just to be able to define the 2 sections of field, which will obviously help any AI helpers when they kind of just sort of need to know the field boundaries in terms of work that they're doing. So I'll just take this right up to the top here, and then after that I'm going to try and just do a bit of landscaping to get the greenhouses sorted. So what I need to do down the bottom, as you can see, the field's got a slight sort of gentle slope to it, so I just want to flatten this area off a little bit. I'm going to just use the sort of levelling sort of tool within the landscaping section, just to kind of go from the hedge line up into the field, and hopefully you'll kind of see that it will create a little bit of a ridge just to sort of flatten this out a little bit. And then hopefully the greenhouses that I put in will kind of fit sort of in this bottom end right by the hedge, and there won't be sort of too many issues in terms of the actual groundwork and stuff like that. So I'm going to get this levelled out, and then we'll get the 2 greenhouses placed. Okay, so that's a nice kind of flat base for us to work from. So I'll just get these 2 greenhouses placed. I think I'll put the first one, so I'll start up this end, I think, place that kind of in line with the edge of the hedge, and then I'll put the other one down next to it, make sure I try and get them aligned, and sort of leave sufficient space in between the 2 of them to be able to get to the water tanks. So I think that should be fine down that end, and the kind of nice gap that's in between there, so that's all good. Just have a little look behind, see, I'm not sure if they're not quite aligned, but that's good enough. And then I think I might just need to finish off a little bit more kind of sculpting and just soften off the sort of edges here, and I'll probably end up sort of painting in a little bit more grass just around the edges of the greenhouses, and just sort of on the field edge and everything else like that. So yeah, pretty pleased with those. Pleased that I've got sort of 2 of the large greenhouses in, so hopefully that will keep us busy over the winter months. So the other thing that I needed to check quickly is when we need to get our crops in the ground. Now, as I mentioned beforehand, we're putting oilseed radish as a cover crop into the right-hand side of the field. So that's where we'll have a spring crop next year, and then our grass will go into the section that's closest to the farm. So the oilseed radish needs to go in today. The grass can wait until tomorrow, but if I can get it done today, then I will do. So we've finished cultivating one part of the field. We've moved into the section that will have grass in it. So this little green strip is obviously defining kind of the 2 sections of field, so that's quite good. You can see our 2 nice greenhouses that we've got down the bottom here. Now I might need to just sort of shorten the field a little bit worried that we might have a tractor go crashing into my nice new greenhouses, which would be a bit of a disaster. So I don't want to do that, but they kind of fitted in there quite nicely, so I'm pleased about that, and hopefully we'll get some good production out of them. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to put in them yet, but we'll figure that one out and get those sort of underway. I do need to nip up to the shop and get a water tanker as well, so that's one thing that I've got to do. And I guess the next purchase on our list is getting a drill or a seeder in place. No, I don't want to spend a huge amount of money at the moment, so I am probably going to kind of lease something, and I think this HR440 Venter 430 combination drill will do just fine at the moment. So I'll get this picked up, get it filled up with seed, and I'll take it down to the farm. Now again, this needs 220 horsepower, so it's going to be a little bit too much for our Fendt tractor, so I'll have to swap it over with a McCormick again and get that to do the drilling. But that's all okay, so I'll get this down to the farm, and hopefully we can crack on with getting our first field drilled. So I'm pretty pleased with our progress so far. We've got the farm in a good central location. We've got our fields kind of sorted and separated. We've got the greenhouses in place. I think I'm probably going to put lettuce into those, so I need to get those underway and get the water tanker so they can start producing. And I also need to purchase some chickens, so we've got those producing eggs for the winter as well. So that's us finished the cultivating now, so I'm just going to go and give this a wash down quickly, get it parked up in one of the sheds, and the drill is down here, so I'm going to put the McCormick tractor onto that, take it over to our first field and start getting that oilseed radish drilled. So I'm going to start in the same bottom corner as I did with the cultivating. We've got 1,000 litres of seed in the tank, which I hope will be enough to do both of these fields. Not 100% sure, but it should be. So as you know, we've got oilseed radish in here, which is going in as a cover crop over those winter months. Now that will give us a first level of fertiliser when we come to the spring, and putting a new crop in, which I think will probably be something like spring oats or spring barley, or might even put some corn in, not 100% sure. Now I'm going to do the headland myself. I'll do a couple of times round. I must say I'm missing sort of course play a little bit, but I'll get these headlands sorted out. I'll put a helper in here, and then I can go off and do a few other tasks. Okay, so next up I need to purchase some chickens. Now this little kind of open free range chicken coop takes 30 chickens in total, so I think I'm going to get 25 of these ones that are 6 months old, and then I'll probably get one single rooster as well, so we won't go quite up to the full capacity, but that'll keep him busy, so that's all okay. They all seem quite happy. I filled the trough up with grain earlier on. So they have got their sort of full capacity of food, so they should be all okay for the time being. Right now, the next task, I need to go back up the shop. I need to get one of those water tankers so I can start putting some water into those greenhouses and getting those lettuces sorted. Well, we have a very handy and free supply of water in the pond that's behind the farm here, so I'll get the tanker backed in, we'll fill her up, and then we'll head over onto those greenhouses and get those sorted so we can get those lettuces growing, and then hopefully they, I'm not quite sure how quickly they're going to start producing sort of pallets of goods, but hopefully it will be fairly quickly. Now you may have noticed that I've removed the visibility for all of the triggers, but I'm pretty sure this one's just down the end here. Okay, so I'm going to select lettuces for both of the greenhouses, and I think as far as the outgoing products are concerned, I need to change the output mode to storing, so hopefully that will then mean the pallets will sort of produce and kind of appear outside of the greenhouses, and then it's down to me to take them to the selling point. So I'm going to do that for both of the greenhouses, and I think if we just you might not be able to make out, but just in the next greenhouse you can kind of see them. You can just about see sort of very dark brown lettuces sort of appeared in the troughs there. They don't look very healthy, so we need to go and get the water and bring these back to life. Well, they seem to be taking quite a bit of water, a bit more than I sort of expected. So that's a little bit in our first greenhouse. As you can see, the lettuces have started to grow. So I just need to nip off, get some more. So we'll put some into this second greenhouse just so that they're both kind of underway and producing. And I'll need to go and close those doors, actually. I left them open. So I'll just nip down, close those. We'll have a little look inside just to see how they're getting on. But everything looks pretty good. They seem to be growing away quite nicely, so that's good. And yeah, you would have thought maybe they'd squeeze about 6 in there, but I guess they've got plenty of room. And our tractor and drill are getting on quite nicely over in the field here. So we started over on the very far side of the field, so we're working our way across towards the farm. But that seems to be working quite nicely. So it shouldn't be too long before we've kind of finished this one. It's just coming up to 10 past 3 in the afternoon, so we should have time hopefully to go over and also seed the grass field as well, so that seems to be sort of working out okay. Well, we've just moved over to the grass field now, started to drill this. The time's just coming up to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so I think we'll have plenty of time to get this done. So that's pretty good. Both of our fields will have been seeded and we'll have crops growing in them, and I'm not quite sure how quickly this grass will kind of turn as we sort of venture into the winter months. And I have kind of sort of read or seen on various other YouTube videos that you can continue to kind of harvest your grass even in the winter months, which seems a little strange, but you know, we might be able to take a first cut off of it over the winter if it's not too bad, but it seems a little bit odd that we might be able to do that. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for the video today, so I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, it'd be great if you could do so. I'm trying to kind of hit 1,500 subscribers so I can become part of the Giants Partner Program, so if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and you'll be notified of future videos. So thanks again for watching. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, stay safe, take care, and I will catch you at Haute Beyleron next time. Bye for now.